Hi and welcome back. A man teaches a young woman how to become a complete weapon. Veronica is put to the ultimate test when she encounters a gang of ruthless youngsters who search blonde young women in an interrogation room to fulfill their wants. Veronica, a 5-year-old orphan, sits across from William, who carefully inquires about her parents' deaths. To his surprise, the girl remains, so he hands her a piece of paper with maze on it and asks her to solve it. Veronica completes the puzzle, and William then tests her recall. The girl vividly recalls their first home. It astounds the scaled agent and refers to her as immaculate. Then William invites Veronica to come with him to a place where exceptional people are trained to accomplish missions. The curious girl inquires as to how he obtained his, so William reveals that his family was murdered by a terrible man. Veronica asked if she may have ice cream, and the man smiled. A teenage Veronica rows a boat with William on a lake to train 12 years later. Following that, the man makes Veronica stand barefoot on wet rocks in preparation for a chase in the night woods without shoes. William then tells her not to continue fighting, so the teenager asks to use a gun instead. The trainer hands her a gun and orders her to shoot him. Veronica, on the other hand, finds it empty, so William tosses pebbles at her. The trainer explains that firearms without ammunition are useless. Veronica refuses the man's drink and he orders her to run back to their car miles away before leaving with. At a diner, a bunch of teenage males, Jameson, Daniel, Shane, and Nelson. When the leader discovers a fresh blonde waitress, Gwen, hang out with Jennifer as he approaches Gwen to get her number. Jennifer thinks about their friend's fascination with blondes. Jameson's type elsewhere. William performs tests if the adolescent can summon her power by using only her will and strangles. Veronica, who is stunned, is unable to protect herself, so the man frees her and assumes her position to explain how to get out of the dilemma. As William tries to flee, he instructs her to choke him until he's dead, and the trainee complies. The young woman's chokehold, but his body collapses in terror. Veronica comes to a halt and smacks him awake, and the trainer is taken aback by her enormous might. Afterward, William spars with a unique teenager and records her assembling a gun quickly, preparing her to finish a group of vicious teens. At the diner in formal attire, Jameson leads Gwen into the dark forest, followed by his friends at a bar. William directs Veronica to approach the man with the brown sweater in order to put her skills to the test, which she obliges. When the young woman requests that the stranger escort her to the restroom, he grabs her hand in the restroom. Veronica pretends to kiss a man, but then strangles him while he is unconscious. Then William comes in and compliments her work, but Veronica is unimpressed. William slaps the man awake and fabricates a story in which the stranger kissed Veronica against her will, so the confused man apologizes in the dark forest. Gwen flees for her life while her friends pursue her with various weapons. When they catch up to her, the waitress screams as Jameson shoots her dead sitting in an inn. William refuses to give Veronica pain relievers for her. Instead, she lies in bed next to him, wrapped in a towel. She makes an attempt to seduce her trainer, but William rejects her efforts. Soon later, William attaches his student to a stretcher chair and prepares to transport him an injection with truth serum and a dimethyltryptamine or DMT. This will cause her to hallucinate and confront her worries. Veronica asserts that she is not afraid of anything, so William tickles her to demonstrate that, despite her incredible abilities, she is still human. The trainer then injects Veronica with the hallucinogen and fastens the strap around her neck to protect himself from her heightened power. Following that, William abandons Veronica as she begins to feel the effects of the chemical. She is fighting a man who has overpowered her when her trainer enters and shoots her attacker. Veronica squirms and plays when she notices William approaching. She was labeled a failure. I'm worried about William's displeasure. The young woman declares her love, but the man stabs her in the heart. Suddenly, William pours a pail of water on Veronica, bringing her back to her senses. When the trainer inquires about her hallucinations, she discloses that she is afraid of failing her objective. Curious, Veronica inquires whether her beloved trainer will kill her if necessary, but William refuses to confirm her suspicions. He reminds her to stay sharp in any situation, especially if her opponent is of the same caliber. Then he decides that she is ready for her final exam. Soon later, William drives his trainee to the diner and presents her to her next victim. They watch Jameson's group from outside. As Veronica discovers, they have murdered at least 10 women, with Gwen being the most recent victim. Appalled, Veronica notices Jennifer, Shane's girlfriend, whom William reveals as the group's cover when the young men leave the diner. Veronica, the car to gather more intel. Veronica then approaches Jennifer and inquires about the menu. The young lady orders a milkshake for them. As they wait for their order, Shane's girlfriend glances at her oddly. Jennifer's sorrow is noticed by Veronica. Jennifer, on the other hand, tells her that she is well. Veronica attempts to cheer her up. Insistent Veronica confirms that her companion's issue is connected. As a result, she confides in her trainer about her unrequited love. Fortunately, Jennifer is more at ease and expresses her concerns about her boyfriend and his pals. She describes them as a pack of wolves on the verge of tearing each other apart. Furthermore, Jennifer wishes to leave everything behind but is constrained. Veronica encourages her new buddy and shares her motto with her: live each day as if you're going to die tomorrow. She then says her goodbyes and departs with her takeout fries. As Jennifer expresses her gratitude in the car, Veronica reports that the group of friends is falling apart and asks when they'll start. However, William reveals that she has to do the mission alone as her final test days after Jameson enters the diner and eyes Veronica, the blonde young woman standing on the corner. The arrogant teenager takes his seat in front of a young Veronica, who claims to be new in town, surreptitiously calculates her objective while he drinks her milkshake. Then Jameson invites her to meet him on set at night at the same location with clean hair and red lipstick taunting. Veronica asks where they'll go, so, before leaving the diner, the young man explains that they will travel to another world. That Saturday, Jennifer assists Shane, who discloses that he and his friends will ride in a Honda as he kisses his girlfriend. Shane bids farewell to his girlfriend now that Jameson fetches his. Meanwhile, Nelson and his mother are finishing their dinner when a friend's automobile honks outside. He kisses his mother farewell and enters Jameson's vehicle with a bat. They then go after Danielle, who dances in his house and enters the car with his axe. He thinks of their next prey and bites the steel blade of his weapon with glee. Veronica dresses herself in red and writes "I love you" on her. Soon after, Jameson returns from the diner with his girlfriend and presents her to his pals, seeing them in a tuxedo. Veronica inquires as to whether they are in a cappella group, as Danielle flirts with her. Then Jameson warns his companion not to startle their guest as they get into the car and drive away. Veronica inquires if there would be additional girls with them on their journey, which Jameson confirms. Thrilled, Danielle assures her that she will meet a girl named Annabelle, whom he claims is someone to die for as the men. Nelson then displays his baseball fandom by standing on his seat with his torso outside the window. Nelson swings his bat and gleefully destroys the road signs as Jameson speeds up. Soon after, Nelson tosses Veronica the bat for her turn, and she rises from her seat. The young woman swings but misses the mailbox, claiming she wasn't ready. She is, however, able to damage the second mailbox and gets the men's admiration. Jameson, clearly impressed, advises his friends that they should keep her longer to enjoy themselves. Soon, Jameson takes a turn and parks the car on the side of the road, seeing no one in the dark forest. Veronica inquires whether they are the first to arrive, which Jameson confirms. The men then lead their captive farther into the woods as she stumbles on her. Jameson takes her to the worn-out couches and chairs where his pals congregate. The men stare at her in silence, so Veronica asks what they usually do in response. Danielle invites her to join her in a game, and the young lady gives them a drink from her flask, unbeknownst to the young men. As they take turns swigging, the trained teen infuses the drink with hallucinogens. However, Jameson declines and returns it to her. The arrogant man announces the play Truth or Dare. First, she must take a dare from Danielle's bag and determine whether she'll have truth or dare. However, if she chooses the same dare twice, she will be forced to perform it again. Jameson begins the game by selecting a dare, but instead decides to do the truth. Veronica inquires about the worst thing he has done, so Jameson recalls his first haunt. The arrogant young man reveals that he hunted a rabbit with his dad, but it limped away as he shot it at its hind legs. His father instructed him to end it with a deer, but when he looked it in the eyes, the young Jameson couldn't. Veronica and Shane find his story lame, but Jameson attests that letting the rabbit die a slow and painful death is worse than simply finishing it off like he's supposed to. Veronica then selects a dare but also the truth, so Jameson asks her the same question. The young lady tells that she had the opportunity to save someone's life, but Danielle probes for details. But Veronica declines and takes a drink from her flask, instead, confident that she'll endure the hallucinogens' effects. Then Shane refuses to participate, so Nelson picks a dare that tells him to kill something. As Veronica looks on in horror, he picks up a worm off the ground and eats it. Afterward, James discovers that Veronica is not religious, but he pledges that she will pray to God in her final exam. Strangely, Danielle encourages us to hope that true pleasure is found in pain and urges her to hit him, so she obliges. Veronica then inquires about the arrival of the other girls, alleging that she is outnumbered. Jameson assures her that they are having a good time and continues with the game. When it's his turn, the arrogant man accepts his dare and kisses Veronica. She picks the same dare twice, which says to get tied. Jameson ties Nelson's belt around her wrists and chooses a dare. However, he chooses the truth, so Veronica asks him about. Gwen is concerned. Danielle sits up straighter, while Jameson maintains he doesn't know what happened to her. The rest of the guys withdraw from the game, so Jameson chooses a dare for the tethered woman, which reads die. Veronica announces that she wants to go home, but the arrogant man changes the game into a hunt and asks her to run. Veronica feigns distress and pleads for rescue, are accompanied by loud laughter from her pals. Then Jameson tells his companions to close their eyes and tells her to keep running. Because the four friends travel more ground, Veronica gets a 5-minute head start. Jameson orders her to run for her life shortly after. Danielle dashes off to find their victim, disregarding the 5-minute restriction, so the others also start their search in the distance. An unfastened Veronica abandons her act of innocence and prepares for her task. Meanwhile, Danielle begins to hallucinate after seeing two mascots ahead of him. He runs after the manifestation of his fears and swings his axe, which Veronica dodges. As a fight ensues, Veronica eventually grabs hold of the hysterical man's axe, who sees her as two mascots due to the lace string. Frightened, Danielle flees, but Veronica kills him with his weapon and wears his shoes. Nelson, on the other hand, sees a masked man circle him and shouts for his mother in fear. Then Veronica pulls his bat and disarms him before engaging him. Fight. The train woman charges at Nelson, whom he thinks is a horde of goons. Eventually, Veronica overpowers him. While Nelson imagines kissing his mother, Veronica crushes his head with a rock, quickly murdering him somewhere. Jameson calls for Veronica, but finds Danielle's corpse by a tree soon after Jennifer arrives at their hideout to look. For Shane, Butchie finds the group's leader on the couch, Jameson Toss, his friend's girlfriend, who turns out to be his ex, and kisses her. Shortly after, Shane finds Jennifer's car and sees his lover tangled in a passionate exchange with his friend. Jameson provokes Shane, who hits him across the face multiple times. Despite this, Jameson confronts his friend, telling him that people like themselves cannot love, but Shane disagrees. He then tells the truth about their hunt to the confused young woman. At them in terror. Then Jameson raises a gun at Jennifer, who is now aware of their crimes, but Shane steps in the way abruptly. Shane tackles his friend to the ground and beats him unconscious. After that, despite saving her from his friend, he chokes her. However, as his hallucinations end, Shane's surroundings distort, so Veronica strangles him until he no longer breathes. Meanwhile, Jameson discovers Nelson's body and pursues Veronica's. By the lake, the young woman tends to her dislocated nose. After her encounter with Shane, then she hears the remaining young man applaud her work and approach her from the forest. Jameson tells her to sit so they can ask each other questions, and Veronica obliges. The arrogant man learns that his friends were drugged with truth serum and DNT, which caused their hallucinations. Then Jameson admits to killing 21 young women, including Veronica. Afterward, Veronica confirms that Jameson had slept with Jennifer multiple times before and asks about his deepest fear. Jameson refuses to answer and slaps his target across the face for his buddy's death. Then he proposes marriage to Veronica so that they can both kill people, but she declines since they haven't reached a middle ground. As Jameson initiates a battle, Veronica eventually strangles the cruel young man, just like what she did with William. Afterward, she forces the remaining contents of his flask into his mouth and drags him. Jameson awakens to find a rope wrapped around his hands and neck. Veronica cautions him as he stands on a little rock that one false step will lead to his death, so Jameson begs for his life. Veronica then suggests a game. She asks him whether he is religious after calling one question. Taken aback, Jameson answers no, as he refuses to beg God for help. Suddenly, he sees Gwen ahead of him together with numerous girls he has slaughtered with his friends. Jameson cries in terror as his greatest fear looms and pushes him to his doom. Veronica watches the lifeless young man hang when William walks beside her and praises her work. Well done. Soon after, Veronica and William celebrate with pancakes at the diner. Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.